Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. One of the most important things you will ever learn on your path. Yes, there's meditation. Yes, there's mantra. Yes, there's devotion. Yes, there's all kinds of things. And they're all wonderful. Listen to me. Very important. The most important thing you will ever learn is resistance. The word resistance. That is the entire spiritual path. The reason you have to do all those other things is because of resistance. If there was no resistance, you would be there right now. We're there, everywhere the great masters were, everything. Resistance is the issue. What does that mean? So some people want to come and say, well, if somebody's mistreating me or not being nice to me, I'm going to resist. Okay. What happens if you resist? You own it. If somebody can say something to you that gets you upset, it's because you resisted. If you don't resist, it goes right through. Period. Even physical yoga, asanas, teach you that. If you're doing an asana and it hurts, they don't tell you get up to stop the pain. I'm not talking about something wrong with you, but generally the stretching. They say what? Relax through it. Yes or no? And you guys yoga teachers? Who doesn't teach that? Relax into it. Ooh, not just relax through it. Relax into it. What does that mean? Don't resist. That's exactly what it means. Don't resist. Why? The reason you feel tension is because you're resisting. What is tension? Two forces in opposition to each other. You don't have to be a physicist. Understand that. If there's only one force and there's no opposition, there's no tension. There's no tension. Nothing's resisting my hand. Okay? Put a steel wall there. Not only, you don't know it, but structural architects study resistance. I-beams, metal beams have resistance. And they measure the degrees of resistance that oppose the opposing force. That's how they keep buildings up, by making sure that whatever opposing force's resistance can be offset by, held by, bounced by the power, the strength of the resistance of an I-beam. Okay? It's the exact same thing with you. If you resist something, it causes tension. It is what tension is. It's two forces resisting each other. And you say, I feel tense. That's why. Because you're resisting. Now, resistance is a fairly instinctual thing. If you feel you are being attacked, if a lion jumps at you or somebody takes a swing at you, it goes like that, doesn't it? There's natural resistance, right? Because you're trying to protect yourself. Protection is a opposing force. You don't protect yourself when you don't need to, but if you need to, you oppose the force that's coming at you with resistance. It causes tension. Now, I'm not telling you not to put your arms up if somebody's going to swing at you. Don't go crazy yet. Just understand the physics of resistance. It basically means you are opposing something. If you feel tension, you are opposing something. If you don't oppose it, what is judo? So you learn judo. Go with the force, not against it. People that are small can fight these big judo people. Why? When they come at them, they don't try to stop them. You can't stop a 300-pound sumo wrestler. But if you're not there, they fall over. The example that Zen often uses. Do you know that a blade of grass is stronger than an oak tree? Watch it when a hurricane comes through. The oak tree goes down. The blade of grass is the same as it was before. It just flexes with it. It handles the force without resistance. But because the oak tree is so rooted and so strong, it resists the force of the wind. And we got them all around here. They go down by the roots. Big giant things are sticking up where the wind, the force blew over stronger than the resistance of the tree. Why am I teaching you this? Because it's the same thing inside of you. There's not just external resistance. There's internal resistance. All right? The way I like to describe it, and it's very powerful. You have inside hands. There are hands in there that can push things away. Can they not? If you don't like it, you push it away. What are you pushing away? You push away the energy that came into you because of the event that took place. Somebody said something, somebody did something, somebody didn't say something, somebody didn't say something, right? You're in there struggling. There's no struggle without resistance. That's what struggle means. Two opposing forces, and you are struggling with it. And so what you do is you resist. How do you resist? By protecting yourself. See, that sounds very holy. You have the right to protect yourself. Well, of course you have the right to protect yourself. Just make sure you understand the consequences. If you are so sensitive, what does that mean? The tendency to protect yourself, that you can't talk to people, you can't meet people, you can't even go outside. You stay inside. You can't drive a car, go on an airplane, because you notice they could crash. So the very thought causes resistance, does it not? Causes you, again, what you are doing when you're protecting yourself. Let's talk about it. Take a breath. Who's protecting who from what? Nothing has to happen outside, and you're in there going bananas. Why? Because you're in there, you're conscious. Your consciousness is a force, it's a presence. Your awareness, it's awareness of being. That awareness of being has learned, and we'll talk about that because it's deep, has learned that things can come in. What kind of things? Do snakes come in there? Do punches come in there? Nothing comes in there. That's all out here. If a rattlesnake goes by, the snake does not come inside your being, but something comes in there because you feel resistance. You freak out. Okay? Even if it crawled by and is gone, you are still in there resisting. You're still in there protecting yourself. What are you protecting yourself from? The vibrational energy. It's energy that comes in. A vibration, an aura, call it whatever you want. Energy comes in from the event and you experience it inside. That's so important to differentiate what is happening outside to what's happening inside. That's when you're really starting to be on a spiritual path, when you clearly see the two. Okay? So outside events happen. How do they get in there? They're out there. The snake's out there. The person saying a mean thing is out there. Things are out there. How do they get inside? Are you inside or outside? You in there? Hello? You in there? You sure? You sure you're in there? Anybody not in there? How long you been in there? Were you in there yesterday? You sure? Were you in there 5 years ago? You sure? Were you in there when you were a child experiencing anything? Who? The experiencer is in there. You know, I'm a computer guy, the end user. That's who's in there, it's the end user. How do outside events get inside? How do these outside events that are out there make their way inside? There must be some sort of sensors that interface the outside world to the inside world. Kind of like a computer, things don't get inside, but they make their way back to the CPU. How? They have ports, I/O ports, input-output ports, and they are auditory or visual or this or that. They have cameras. What is a camera? An input port. What's a microphone? An input port. But the outside world stayed out there. The words that she said to me got said outside. That they bothered me inside, they had to get in there. Are the things that people can say that are really so bad that they bother you? Well, take a second. I told you, you've never found it, nor have I, nor has anybody, but I'm telling you about it anyways. There's a little switch back here, all right? And when you turn that switch, the language they're speaking is one you've never heard, right? Is what they're saying bothering you? They just dished you. You're not protecting yourself? No, I don't. It's just words. It's just sounds that are coming in through the system. Right. That doesn't cause resistance. The only thing that can cause resistance, they got in, the vibrations got in, they're in there. All right? They got in, and then you, the consciousness, the awareness of being, the experiencer, the end user, resisted. You resist. We'll talk about the in-between why and how you decide what to resist. We're going to talk about all that. Talk about resistance, but you do resist. But if it's the language you don't understand, you don't resist, you laugh. This is yoga. This is spirituality. It's what we're discussing. Like I said, it's beyond the techniques. It's why you use them. So you understand what's going on in there. Let's put it this way. It's why you're not merged in divine consciousness right now. You'll see that by the time I'm done. All right. So it comes in through your senses. You have 5 senses, and they vibrate. They send in the vibrations of the electromagnetic spectrum, of the sound spectrum, etc. Right? They come in, and then they pass through you. But I'm going to tell you right now that at least 99%, I usually say 99.9% of every single thing that ever came in through your senses passed right through. You're driving down the road, there's cars, there's trees, there's this, there's that, there's white lines. Did they come in? Did you see them? They just passed right through. Until the tree looks like the tree you fell out of when you were 5, now it didn't pass through. This is so important. Why? It was the same. It was a tree. There was just something there, out there. Why didn't it pass through? Right? Because you stopped it. Something inside built up a resistance so that when something reminded you of that tree or of that dog bark or of your past girlfriend or boyfriend that looked like them in the car that drove by night, it didn't pass through. Well, where did it go? It came in. Did it not come in? It obviously came in. You notice something's going on in there. If it didn't pass right through, I'm telling you, be here now, Ram says be here now, means it passed through. It passed through. I'm here now. Where else would I be? There then? It did come in. I didn't stop it. It came in. It came in. It was raining. It's not raining. It's thundering. There's people walking by. Is somebody pretty? Somebody not so good looking? It's a man. It's a woman. It comes in, doesn't it? And it passes through. Almost everything you've ever come in through your senses, every single thing passed right through since you were born. Do you understand that? It doesn't seem like it because there's a point, I either say 1% or 0.1%, right? Didn't pass through. Where did it go if it didn't pass through? Oh my God, I'm going to go real slow. I never go slow. This is it. If you want to understand what spirituality is, what every single thing is all about, it's about that 0.1% that didn't pass through. Well, it came in just like everything else. Whatever it is, sight, sound, hear, touch, whatever it is, comes in, goes through. Do you not experience it? I did experience it. Have you ever seen white lines on the road? Maybe you don't make a thing out of them, do you? Do you notice some are dashed and some are solid? I hope you notice. Do you have to think about it? They come in and they pass through and you're in harmony with them. You're there with them, you know, oh my God, it's solid. I want it to pass. I couldn't. Sometimes you do either. We won't talk about that. There, you see the difference, right? It is meant to come in. It's not meant to not come in. You're here to experience life. You're here to experience reality. It's not about renunciation. You took birth and have senses so that you can pick up the outside world and know what's going on out there, but not for the purpose of resisting. I'm sorry. We'll build that in a second. By the way, that is the fall from the garden. Be here now is being in the garden. You're just experiencing God's creation. It's just your conscious being, you are God consciousness, focusing on a particular aspect of creation, like this room, people, at this moment. I'm experiencing what is. If I don't do anything about it, if I just experience it, I'm experiencing it. It's coming in through my portals, my input-output portals. There are 8.3 billion of them, and that's just the human portals. There are animal portals, too, that come in. That's God having created his creation, coming down and experiencing what it created. Like an artist who paints a painting and stands there and looks at it. Nobody else has to look at it. I don't want to sell it. Just I've expressed myself. And there it is, sitting in front of me. I always tell the story of Beethoven. Do you know that Beethoven went deaf one of the greatest composers, went deaf toward the end of his life. But he had music playing in his head his entire life. I tell you, I'm sure people will disagree with me, but Beethoven didn't compose music. He wrote it down. He heard it in his head from youth. All these amazing pieces, all right, were banging in his head. Wow, inspiration. He couldn't handle it. He had to hear it through his own ears. He wanted to write it down and hear it, hear an orchestra playing it, hear a piano playing it. It was just, whoa, the feedback, like looking at the art you created. And he went deaf. He was going deaf. What did he do? He literally cut the legs off his piano so it would sit on the wood floor and he could put his ear down and hear the vibration because he couldn't hear the music from the piano. He was passionate. How's that? All right? That's who you are. I said this to you before, and I know you don't get it. You are God's emissary to the moment in front of you. You are the only person that has experienced that moment. You're looking from different angles. Everybody, and the minute you get out of here, you'll be somewhere else, but they won't be. You have a unique experience of every moment of your life, and that is what's meant to be. You are the emissary of the divine consciousness, sending its consciousness down to experience what it created. Isn't that what you feel like? Can we throw the word resistance in? Sometimes I feel that. When somebody's hugging me that I want to hug me, but if somebody hugs me I don't want to hug me, I don't feel it. When it comes in and there's no resistance inside, it's very beautiful, isn't it? Have you ever turned the corner and seen a sunset that caught you by surprise? And the magenta and the colors and so on. The words I like to use, and you listen to me, because you've used them very rarely in your life. It touched me to the depth of my being. Have you used those words? I felt like I was in the presence of God. Those are the same thing. It touched me to the depth of my being. What does it mean? No resistance. There was no resistance on its way in. It came in, and it went all the way back to the core of my being, which is the divine consciousness. It made its way all the way back. And I went into ecstasy. Now you understand. You understand resistance? You understand non-resistance. Do you ever resist? I get a better question. Do you ever not resist? What percentage of the time of your entire life, every moment of your life, was there total non-resistance going on in there? If you had 3 fingers, you could count it on there, that you literally melted. It can happen. Intimacy can do it. Art can do it. Why do some people love impression? I love impressionist art. I don't know, but you stand in front of, I do, I stand in front of it, and not always, but if I'm open, it melts. I melt. You're not in front of a painting. You're experiencing something beautiful inside, right? It somehow stimulated the openness, right? What does openness mean? Non-resistance. I felt really open to her. I felt really open to the house. I felt really open to the music. Can music move you to the depth of your being? Can you be listening to a piece of music and go bye-bye? Look at our words. I'm trying to use them, right? So you finally understand what I'm talking about is non-resistance, isn't it? It comes in. It does come in. Nobody stops it from coming in, all right? I mean, you can. That's resistance outside. Don't you talk to me like that ever again. I don't want to see you ever. Oh, boy. What am I trying to do? I know when it comes in, it's going to bother me. It ain't coming in. Ever feel like saying that? That would mean I, the inner will, my being, the power of my being, you have power in there. Those inner hands that would push stuff around, they're now pushing stuff around out here. So that, why? Why would you do that? Why would you fight with somebody? Why would you resist? Why would you run away? Why would you do this stuff? So that it doesn't come in and bother me. Do you see how big this topic is? One word, resistance. That's all we're talking about. But you never understood it. It's just an instinctual thing. I don't like you, get away from me. In other words, you ain't coming in here. When you come in here, I can't deal with it, so you're not coming in here. That's how you feel about your ex. All my exes live in Texas, and I don't go to Texas. No, I'm serious. It's look at your life. That's what it boils down to. That for some reason, stuff got built in there so that some things don't pass through. And if they're disturbing enough, because they don't pass through, which means you resisted them, If you do not resist, they are not disturbing. Look at me. I know this is so hard. If you do not resist, they are not disturbing. They're just events that you experienced. There's my ex-husband. What does that mean? There's my ex-husband. And it's funny how such a simple thing can be so deep. It's the essence of everything. All right. So I'm telling you, the vast majority of your life came in and passed through. You experienced it. That's very, very rare does it touch to the depth of your being. Which, by the way, if you do drugs, you smoke dope, you're trying to reach those states. You're trying to create an openness, right? People I'm terrible to talk about these things. Usually they say, you can't talk about these things, Ricky. We got to talk about it, right? Can you get inebriated, drunk out of your mind, uninhibited? What does that mean? I'm not telling you to do it, believe me. But why do they do it? So that there's not all this resistance. What does uninhibited mean? I'm not resisting. Wow. Why? I'm not allowed to talk about this stuff. I don't remember the name of the modern drugs that people take that really zonk them out. Okay? Why would you do such a thing? Because you can't handle what comes in. It causes so much disturbance inside, and all you want at any price, at any cost, even your health and legality and everything is, could it just shut up in there for a minute? Could I just feel? And there are some, I don't use their name, I don't even know it, but there's some modern drugs that these people take that just zonk them out completely. Yes or no? And that's the only peace they have. Why? That's a way to create non-resistance. I don't recommend it in any way, shape, or form, right? I don't judge, okay? I have compassion. I understand that it can get so disturbing inside that people do whatever they can to make it a little bit better. All right. Every word I've talked about since I started is about resistance. If you are not resisting, you are okay inside. What do you mean? It's coming in and passing through. Why are there so few moments that touch you the depth of your being? Because you resist the rest. You're in the resisting. That's it. Now let's talk about how it got that way a little bit. Maybe that'd be nice to know. All right? And by the way, I said to you, the fall from the garden is when divine consciousness comes down and builds this thing down there that resists. And now, they said, when you fall from the garden, now you must work by the sweat of your brow. And know anything about that? Working by the sweat of your brow to be okay? To make things be okay? That's all you do, isn't it? Why? Because you built this thing inside of your mind and your heart that is resisting things. And we'll talk about why and how, because everyone here is different. And when it comes in and it resists, it's not fun. And you spend your entire life trying to either not get bothered by what you're resisting or having a rare moment, it's a rare moment, where something makes it in past all your junk and you don't resist. And that's beautiful. A great master, look at me. We have some pictures on the wall. I don't know whether you'll understand why I love the masters so much. A true master, there's no resistance. They're living in the state of it touched me to the depth of my being. Every single thing touches them to the depth of their being. Ramakrishna was so evolved, so clear, so open, that once he was in the park with his disciples and he started crying, just, crying. They asked, Master, he's like, my little boy, Master, why are you crying? He said, because I feel the pain of the grass when people are walking on it. It touched me to the depth of my being. Okay? When he was young, little boy in India, during the monsoon seasons, the women would carry the water and different things on top of their heads. And he would be with them. He'd be walking with them. And the monsoon, everything gets black. The whole sky becomes totally black. Well, some egrets or white birds flew across against the black sky. Well, you know how nature can, like we thought of the sunset, right? He passed out. At the age of, 5, 6 years old. He just fell over backwards. And he didn't come back. They thought he said, no, Something wrong with him. Well, he used to fall in that state all the time. When he grew up, if he saw something, a little boy standing, leaning against a tree with his feet crossed like Krishna used to stand, he would go into ecstasy. They used to have to walk, a disciple, you're in an ashram, you got some seva. Your seva is cooking, your seva is cleaning this, your seva is doing that. There was always a disciple whose seva for that day was to walk behind the master at all times because he would fall over backwards. He'd hear the name of God. Every hair on his body would stand on end, and tears would pour profusely from his eyes. That's how open he was. There was no resistance. That's an extreme. Nice to know that there could be a state where every single thing touches you to the depth of your being. You're just experiencing God's creation with total openness all the time, no matter what's going on. Okay? All right. So the fall from the garden happened because we're not in that state. We're not in that state. No, we're not in that state. Why? Because you're trying to get back to it. Why do you want to fall in love? Can make that state happen, can it? If you really like somebody and they're wearing just what you want them to wear and they're saying what you want to hear and everything's just right, had their haircut just the way you like it, and then it didn't become orange and red on both sides, unless you like orange and red on both sides, and then somehow they come in your presence, and what happens? You open. And what happens when you open? You feel love. You feel attraction. You feel beauty. That's inside of you. The feeling of beauty and love are things inside of you. That's because you open. If you're seeing that they're running towards you, they're somebody you've loved and haven't seen them for years, and as they run, it's out of the movies, right? As they run towards you, your heart is melting, right? And then they run right past you to go to the other person, right? How long does it take? A billionth of a second. Are you open or are you closed? And what open means is non-resistance, doesn't it? It means you didn't resist. And what closed means is I resisted. Now we got it? So resistance is a very spiritual word, isn't it? It's the essence of what's going on. All right. So what happened? What does it mean you fell from the garden? What does that mean? Or I got to find my way back to the garden. So what happens, and I've discussed this numerous times, but it's too bad. I like discussing it. To build step by step what happened. All right? You are Adam and Eve. You are God's expression of humanity. What is a human? God descended. It's a God focusing on his creation. That's all. You're still in God. If I sit here and look at that picture, back there, did I have to get up out of my seat to do it? Well, how did I see it? It's way over there. My consciousness can focus out of myself, just like the sun can emanate rays that hit the earth. The sun doesn't come down here, but it really does. The rays are no different than the sun. They're the emanation of the sun. They're the representative, that thing in the sky, its representative is shining right now on that field. It descended down, part of its being. So consciousness can project its awareness of being onto objects that are not right in front of it, just like the sun shines its rays. That's very deep. That's very big. God can be sitting in the unmanifest, divine, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent creation and focus down on that picture. And in fact, that's what's happening. There's only one consciousness. There's only one consciousness, awareness of being. And that's Satchidananda. That's it. That's the divine being. That consciousness can focus on its creation, just like I can focus on that picture. I don't have to get up. He don't have to leave samadhi. He doesn't have to leave his state of union all over the universe, his omnipresence, okay, in order to focus. So if I focus on a picture, I've projected my consciousness. There's only one consciousness. The divine consciousness is now looking at the picture. But it's also looking at what you're looking at, right? Its rays go everywhere, all right? So you're all one. We sang that song. I'm one. You are all one. But you're staring at something outside the oneness, at something separate, okay? And perfectly reasonable. That's what it means for the Creator to look at his creation. I said, you are the emissaries, the ambassadors of the divine consciousness sent down to experience the moment you're experiencing. If you get that, I'm so impressed. I keep trying to tell you, only you experience the moment you're experiencing. Nobody else experiencing exactly that moment. So that is like your IO ports, your senses are there to let God experience his creation. Made me cry. When you get it, it's like, whoa, that's what I'm here for. What is the purpose of creation? To experience creation. Why did God create creation? To express himself. But there's all kinds of things. Yeah, he expressed everything. He expressed his entire being, which is Alpha to Omega, which is everything, yin to yang. It's everything. Don't say it's good, it's bad, it's right, it's wrong, it's better, it's worse. No, God is just here. The scream, the painting, the scream. Is it beautiful or frightening? I don't know, but people paid a lot of money for it, hundreds of millions of dollars. All right, why? Or somebody listens to some kind of music that you think is, oh my God, all right, and they hear it, and that's just total aspects of God experiencing the aspects of his creation. And your consciousness is that consciousness. And its job is to experience and send back, to be willing to experience. And willing is silly, because if there's no resistance, there's no such thing as willing. There's no resistance. So there's no need I'm willing. That means I could not be willing. There is no resistance. Not my will, but thy will be done. I mean, Christ said it so beautiful, and then he lived it. Forgive them, they know not what they do. No resistance. The epitome of non-resistance. Period. He never did anything to defend himself, did he? Those of you who know the story, isn't that amazing? He was teaching you to let go, to not resist, to allow. All right. So what happened? Because the natural, pure state is non-resistance, just experiencing the experience and being blown away by it. When you say it blew me away, what does that mean? It knocked the resistance out of the way. Is that not what you mean? Oh my God, she was so beautiful, it just blew me away. Oh, that experience was unbelievable, right? It just liberated me, freed me. It's pushing the resistance out of the way. All right, where did the resistance come from? So let's build that to start with, okay? You're Adam and Eve, you're the divine experiencing creation and having a good old time, and he's going about his business, and you're in ecstasy. God's in ecstasy. Satchidananda, eternal conscious bliss. It's an ecstatic force that expressed the ecstasy of its being by creating creation. All of creation, all the galaxies, everything, that's God's being. That's the expression of God's being, all right? And everything that you're experiencing here is just the expression of God's being, period. All right? So what happened? How did it get weird? What happened? We'll start, all right? We're doing our thing. We're down here. I'm seated in God consciousness, but I'm experiencing what's in front of me. I'm seated. It's called the witness, but it's deeper than the witness. It's so much to teach. You all think being a witness consciousness, that's a high state. It's a very nice state, and it's way higher than we normally live, because we're aware that we're aware of the mind, the emotions, the body, the world, but we're aware that we're aware. That's what witness consciousness means. I'm aware that I'm not feeling good. Not I'm not feeling good. I'm aware. I'm aware that as you come toward me, I feel some resistance or I feel some openness. I'm aware of that. That's what witness consciousness is, mindfulness. You're aware of being aware. That's not a very high state. You're still busy looking down. You're still busy noticing what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're good. That's better than being lost in it, right? But the high state is when you let go enough and you start getting pulled up. Up, what do you mean up? Instead of staring at the picture, I start noticing that I'm staring at the picture. Who is? Oh, now I started noticing who's staring at the picture in there. And then I stop staring at the picture. And I start experiencing consciousness itself, and then it goes back, and that's the merger. That's what they're talking about, that you're one. The consciousness is one, but it's busy focusing on me, all right? So is it a high state that I notice is focusing on me? I think about me all the time, okay? Well, that's good. It's good that you notice. I like that. What happens when you stop staring at you? I don't have to stare at the picture, do I? I don't have to stare at the picture, but I'm addicted. I'm attracted. I'm distracted. So it pulls me down to it. When I stop doing that, I'm back in my center. I'm back with me. Where did that come from? Where did my consciousness come from? That's spirituality. And eventually you let go enough to where it pulls you back and you merge. That's where the great masters went. The drop of their consciousness merged into the ocean of consciousness. You've heard that? All right. What happened? How did I get stuck down here? All right. Why is there all this commotion going on in here? So you're paying attention like a good person, doing God's work, sending whatever you're experiencing naturally. You don't have to do anything. Just naturally comes back into consciousness. And then all of a sudden a snake goes by, a rattlesnake, coiled up. What do you feel? Fear. Why do I feel fear? Because it's natural to feel fear in the presence of a rattling rattlesnake. Okay? The vibrations of that rattlesnake came in, didn't they? And they felt different than when you walked up to me and loved me or butterflies flew around me. Everything has its nature. It's natural. It's not wrong or right. It all has its nature. So it comes in, and this is where they want to fall from the garden. With the original sin, it's not what you think it is. All right? I resisted. Who resisted? The consciousness that was merged with the divine, experiencing God's creation, had had enough. That vibration, I'm not comfortable. This is where like and dislike come from. This is where the whole thing comes from. It came in. Yes, it came in. Did it make it through? There was grass there also. Right? There were trees. There was sky. There was sun. Somehow that thing was a little different than those. That vibration was a little bit stronger, harder, whatever. And my consciousness focused on it so much. That's what it did. It distracted my awareness of being to where it wasn't able to be aware of what's around it. It was only aware of that. So I focused my consciousness on that, and it became so intense because I focused on it so much. Do you understand that? If you focus on something, it becomes big. And because it became big, I didn't let it go away. I didn't let it through. I didn't let it touch me to the depth of my being. There's no way that's touched me to the depth of my being. And that's the birth of resistance. What resisted? The consciousness itself is power, it's force, it's chit shakti, it's conscious energy. If it focuses itself, it becomes, I use the example, if you hold a magnifying glass out there on that field, but don't look through it, just look at the effect it has on the ground. Won't it make a point, one tiny point of down there on the ground that would set leaves on fire, yes or no? So when you concentrate energy, it becomes concentrated. When you focus on something that's equivalent to holding the magnifying glass, and it concentrates the energy of God, the energy of Shakti onto the object, and all of a sudden it becomes hot, power, strong. That is what will is. The energy of the divine concentrated down to a point, and you do it all the time. You focus on a thought. You focus on an emotion. Can you get lost in an emotion? That's that energy. People say, what is will? It is concentrated consciousness. And when it concentrates on something, it has power. And the power of resistance is what creates the fact that snake did not make it through. You focused on it so much, as opposed to focusing on the rest of creation, that became a thing that when that snake crawls away, it's still inside of you. Is it not? Do you ever think about it again? You're still scared of it? If you go into a house where a baby rattles, they freak out. You see a rope coiled in the corner, does it freak you out? That's not be here now. Everybody says, they say the eternal now. The only thing that exists is now, not for you. Because you kept that snake in there. Did anybody get it this time? Do you see how it happened? It distracted you. It distracted your awareness so much that it created this power that had the ability to push it away, had the ability to resist, and you do it all the time. You don't even think about it. If you understand this, my God, you understand everything. That's how it happened. Do you ever do that? You do it about everything, all right? The question is, can you handle what happened? If you can handle it, it comes in and goes through. Not only can't you handle it, you don't want to handle it. You think it's holy that you can't handle it. I can't handle what you said to me. What you just did make me suffer. It suffers because you resist it. If the language was a different language, you wouldn't be suffering. But you stopped it. That's you, the power of concentration, pushed against it. And now you have ulcers and headaches and tension and anxiety. What is anxiety? Do you have anxiety about things you know nothing about and never experienced? Oh, I see. So you had an experience, you resisted it, and now you have anxiety it might happen again. You did that. The thing's gone 10 years ago. You had a stepfather you didn't like, blah, blah, fine, he's dead or he's gone. But he's still in there, isn't he? No, he's not. He hasn't been in there since the last time you experienced him. But you couldn't handle the experience. And so you built this whole thing inside of you about what? Oh, pretty much everything. But not really, because almost everything else, when the stepfather was there bothering you, there was a house, there was a door, there was other people, but no, not for you. People say that to me. I go home and I just can't handle my parents. I don't know. I try. I want to be centered. I try to be clear. I do mantra before I go in. I do everything. And the minute I walk in there, bam, there it goes again. Somebody wrote me the other day, said, I practiced non-resistance. I'm trying everything, but this time I just couldn't handle it. So I fought back. And now it's all I think about. Should I have done that? Look at you. You touch it, you own it. If you resist it, it stays in there. If you don't resist it, it makes it through. And I told you the vast majority of everything you experienced made it right through. There were 60 people in your homeroom in high school. 3 of them you either really liked or really didn't like, and that's all you know when you go back to a reunion. Are they still in there when you go back to your 20-year reunion? Do you treat them exactly the way as if they were still the same as they? Wake up. Wake up. You did this. So what you did is you resisted certain things, and they stayed in there. Where did they go? I don't know. Study Freud. No, seriously. That's where psychology touches spirituality. Resistance means suppression. If you're not resisting, you're not suppressing. Suppressing means I don't want it in here so much that I push it away so far that I don't want to think about it. I want to think about what? That which is already in here. What do you suppress? That which I'd be thinking about if I wasn't suppressing it. Is that not it? He had suppression, repression, and denial. That's the best one. It didn't happen. What didn't happen? The thing that I don't want to have happened, that happened, that I'm pushing away so far that it didn't happen. Don't tell me that happened because it didn't happen. Isn't this fun? Isn't it fun to get real for a change? So what you have done, and this is beautiful, there are things you have resisted. And what happens is that the Buddhists teach that thoughts multiply like maggots. Why? If I resisted the rattlesnake, that's my first experience of a rattlesnake, I resisted it. All of a sudden, like I told you, the rattle that a baby plays brings it back. It extrapolates. You see it? You get this loose association of everything that's close to it. All right? My favorite is this. You're married to a schnook named Ben. You finally got divorced. You're over in Europe at a party, okay? And you hear somebody calling, Ben, you freak. Ben died 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. That's called a samskara. Oh, God, we're talking deep stuff. If you store it in there, if you resist it, it's in there. It's in your psyche. It's in your heart, right? That energy. It's not in there. Ben's not in there. Ben's not in there. But the energy, the energetic experience that came in, correct, got stored in there. And it left an impression. That impression is called a samskara in yoga, all right? It's not that Freud was not the first person to talk about suppression. The yogis knew this thousands and thousands of years ago. So if you have that in there, it's going to get hit. How about your expression? It hits my stuff. What's your stuff? I just told you. The white lines in a row do it. No, the white lines in a row don't do it. But Ben does it. And snakes do it. I'm never going to any reptile thing in the museums. I can't go near there. I'm sorry. You go. I'll wait for you. Wow. That's what psychology studies. It studies the fact that you stored this stuff in there and it is ruining your life. Do you understand that? right? You're sensitive, you're afraid, you have dreams about it. Just you stored it in there. Okay, so what happens? And let's just close out Freud. I love Freud. I wish he knew what yoga knows. He could go to a whole other level. Some of the post-Freudian people did. They went to transpersonal psychology, which ties very close to spirituality. Basically, what Freud said is as follows. You stored it in there, but now you have to live in there. Who does? You, the consciousness, the one who did it. There's only one being in there, and it's pushing stuff away and grabbing stuff and doing all kinds of stuff in there. And what he said was, you need to find a way to live in there. Just like you protect yourself, you try to keep what you want, you need to find a way to be okay in there. And you find some really weird ways. I can't handle your religion. I can't handle your nationality. I can't handle your color, right? So now, whoa, wait till you see what I'm like. Do you understand that? I need to find ways to make it so when stuff comes in, I'm more comfortable in here. Well, how did you decide what nationality or what religion or something that you like? I've had past experiences, and I had a past experience which could be a book I read, it could be a movie I watched, it could be something my parents impressed upon me, prejudice, all kind. Yes or no? That's what all is. And it gets stuck in there. And so I'm programmed. You become programmed by the experiences you've had. Listen to me. Psychology says man is the sum of his learned experiences. That's not true. You're the consciousness that's aware that you're the sum of your learned experiences. You're watching the sum of your learned experiences. Do you see that? Do you understand that? Are you not aware that there can be likes and dislikes and prejudices and all kinds of stuff in there? Yes or no? Okay. You're the consciousness that is aware of it. And you can do things about it. But basically your natural state is, that's what Freud taught. You're in there. You need to find a way to live in there. So what do? You develop a concept of self. It's called a self-concept. What is a concept? What is a concept? Something that's not real. It's a concept. What's your concept of blah, 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 blah? I don't know. We'll make something up. All right? It's a concept. It's a mental structure. A self-concept is you took all these pieces, what I want to teach you. You took all these building blocks that you stored in there that's stuck in your mind. You didn't take the ones that didn't get stuck. They passed right through. But you did hold a bunch of stuff in there, didn't you? But it doesn't all match. Maybe I met a bend that I like. Oh my God, what do I do? All right? And bifurcated. So what do? I try to pull it together inside by building a me made out of the stuff I stored in here. This is what I like, what I don't like. I guarantee you what you like and what you dislike, you did not make that up. You had past experiences that either felt good or didn't feel good, or you watched a movie or somebody said something. Do you understand that? You got experience that when it came in, it was a no-no. If it's a no-no, let it go. Why are you storing everything that ever bothered you? I'll take every food that made me sick. I'll take it home and I'll eat a little bit every day so I remember how much it bothered me. That's what you did. You held every single thing that ever bothered you inside of you. If you hold everything that ever disturbed you inside of you, what are you going to be? Disturbed. What are your moods? You get in moods? You get in moods because something happened that stirred up your stuff. So what you try to do is build a you in there, a false you. It's called the ego. A self-concept that says, this is who I am. It's not who you are. You're the self making up this junk, right? You're the consciousness of God that made a block in there and you're trying to build it together so it looks good. And you build a personality, you build a self-concept, and then you sit there and say, I'm the person who likes this, and the person that doesn't like that, and the person this happened to. You are not. You are not what happened to you when you were 5-year-old. You are the self that experienced what happened to you. But then you defined it as yourself. And you built this model inside your head. And now you have to try to sell it to people. You have to try to be accepted. That's hilarious. You're God, experiencing God's creation. What's it got to do with acceptance? What's that got to do with being liked or not liked? Or what a mess. So we build this thing in there, and then we hang out with people that agree with us. And we don't hang out with people who don't. That's what we call, we give a name for them. Oh, friends and enemies. And then we just have this whole thing going on. And then what do? Then we use our will to project this mess. It is a mess. Is there such a thing as good personality? No. There is not such a thing as good personality. There's a personality that's easier for someone else to live with. Okay? But it's just a mess. You built a mess in there. It's made out of your garbage. And so you develop these concepts and views and opinions and preferences and likes and dislikes, and then the world has to come in that matches you. What if it does match? Like I said, what if you see somebody who's exactly the way you used to dream about? When you were young, you had a Barbie that looked like that. And so now she's your best friend. And so now they look like that, and all of a sudden you're open. You open. Why? Because you didn't resist. Now you understand resistance? If it matches the model you built inside yourself, you don't resist. You open. If it doesn't match the model, and to whatever degree it doesn't match the model, you close. You resist. That's why sometimes you have good days and bad days. That's why sometimes you're open and you feel love. And sometimes in 2 seconds, somebody does something, you don't feel love anymore. Maybe never again. You said that to me, get out of my life. I never want to see you again. Whoa, that's some serious resistance. Why? Because it hits some. What if the dinner table, that's what your family was like, and they just see how much they could diss each other and they just have fun. Then you're okay. It's like you like it. Somebody else is, oh my God, how could you talk to me like that? No one's ever talked to me like that. You built a thing in there. Somebody once asked Yogananda, enlightened master, what is the ego? He didn't have to write a book. He didn't need all Freud's volumes. He said the ego is the masquerading self. What does that mean? You're in there. You stored all this junk in there. So you built a mask out of your junk. And you project that out as you. That's who I am. Person likes this, doesn't like this, believes in this, doesn't believe in that. All of it is just garbage. It's just garbage you collected in your mind and in your heart. They go together. The mind and the heart are in cahoots with each other. If the mind doesn't like something, the heart don't like it either. If the heart likes something, the mind goes, ooh. It's all about open, closed, resistance, non-resistance. Do you see it? Okay? Do you see that's the fall from the garden? Now you have to go outside and make the world that comes in match what you built inside yourself. Is that not what you're trying to do? I want to find a job that I'm passionate about. Why don't you just be passionate about everything? Which would you rather do? Find one job and one person in one situation that makes you feel love and makes you feel passion, or realize I get to take the garbage out today? It's my turn. Oh boy, can I do it tomorrow also? And I get to wash the dishes. Look how careful I'm washing the dishes. Why don't you be passionate about everything? Because you're closed. Because there are things that you had experienced in the past that open you. Okay? I got the raise. I got the corner office. Well, if you don't get the corner office, hey, I should have got that corner office. That's ridiculous. I'll show you. You're in there building these models about how the world needs to be for you to be okay. Guess what? It's not going to be that way. Well, why is it not going to be that way? It's called science, like physics and chemistry and even psychology. There's sciences. And what do they say? That there's this law called cause and effect, that things that happen cause the next thing to happen. And that's how the world outside unfolds. It unfolds in accordance with science. Okay? Things happened before, then this happening now. But I don't want it to be that way. If it happened, it happened. Either you resist or you accept. It's that simple. And if you resist, you build something inside of you that is going to suffer. Woe be unto you. That's why Buddha said all life is suffering. Because you built a model inside your head that said, I am only okay if this, and this happen forever. And they keep changing. It has to be the way I want. I'm the boss. I'm the decider, right? It shouldn't have rained on my birthday. I can't believe it rained on my birthday. Why have to rain on my birthday? I had the day before, I had the day after. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why would you do such a thing? It doesn't know it's your birthday. But you do. And you project that out onto life. Life is science. Life is reality unfolding. And you think it's supposed to match what you want. You know what you do when it doesn't match? You say it's wrong. It's wrong. And you get all upset. And you get all, okay, now can you extrapolate enough to understand what we're talking about? What a mess you made. Of course you're not okay. How could you possibly be okay? It's not going to match what you want. How many people think there's always going to match what you want without you doing anything about it? You got to work hard to make it be what you want, don't you? And it is never that way. It doesn't stay that way. Okay? You think you love somebody, you met them, you bumped into them at Publix and shopping carts hit each other, it was just love at first sight. Let's see how long it lasts. Next thing you know, you're standing together for the kids. It keeps changing. Everybody's changing. Everything's changing. That person you thought you fell in love with, you fell in love with your concept of that person. What if you knew that person was totally different than your first impression? You'd walk away from it in 2 seconds. You just basically project, oh my God, you're exactly what I would look for. So I was little. I had dreams about it. You did not. You're just taking you and project. You know who you love? Yourself. Is this terrible that I talk to you this way? It's all about you resisted experiences as you passed through life, and the ones you resisted, you stored inside of you, and now when things match what you wanted and didn't want based on your past experiences, you get okay or you get not okay, and since they've never matched, right? Even if they match, you're afraid that they won't. Okay, have we talked enough? It all started with resistance. It all started with the inability to honor and respect reality and say, of course it didn't feel good. That's part of reality. There are feelings that don't feel good. God made everything. You understand that? There are feelings that do feel good. Is that okay with you? There are times that match what I wanted, and there are times that don't. Is that okay? How about I'm ecstatic about both? If something unfolds that looks like a miracle, what is a miracle? What is a miracle? You be careful. A miracle is that something you didn't expect to happen. It happened. That's a miracle. For somebody else, they didn't want it to happen. It's the devil. And you sit there and you understand life, reality is going to unfold. That's what it's supposed to do. It is the result of all the causes that made it be what it is. There. Are you okay with that? Today you can say, I'm not only okay with it, I'm in ecstasy experiencing it. But what if somebody dies that you love? You're in ecstasy? Deep inside, I'm so open. It's an amazing experience to feel the heart, feel that pain, to feel that loss. Is that okay? It's beyond okay. It's beautiful. Everything is everything. And your ability to be open doesn't mean that it's joyous. It means you experience it to the depth of your being. It touched you to the depth of your being. The sadness, because it touched the depth of your being. The depth of your being is a very beautiful place. What if everything touched the depth of your being? And then you came back with that love, that compassion, that openness, and brought that down here to help others, to raise others. That's Christ. That's Buddha. That's what the great ones were, right? Judge not that you should not be judged. You, without sin, throw the first stone. All right. You understand resistance a little bit better now? Do you resist? There's a chapter in Untethered Soul called The Spiritual Path of Non-Resistance. Read it, okay? And practice it. How? Relax. Instead of resisting, relax. But what if I'm resisting? Okay, you'll fall. Yes. You don't ride the bike perfectly the first time. Practice non-resistance. Practice, at least for a moment, this is bothering me. Don't resist. Whoa. Wait till you see what that does to your life and to the lives of everybody around you. All right. Jagarath.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.